Now, U.S. President Donald Trump says diplomacy is not an option in dealing with North Korea, stressing that, quote, there's only one thing that'll work. Now, Trump, in a pair of tweets, declined to specify or elaborate on exactly what that thing that'll work in dealing with Pyongyang would be. But he said that previous administrations have been engaged in talks with North Korea for over 25 years, made agreements, and even paid massive amounts of money. Now, Trump said that none of them had produced any tangible results. U.S. has not ruled out the use of force to compel Pyongyang to halt its missile and nuclear programs. In fact, just last month, addressing the UN General Assembly, Trump even threatened to totally destroy North Korea. And joining us out of Ontario, Canada now for more is Jason Unruhe, political commentator. Hello, Jason. Good to have you back on the program. Now, should we be concerned? We've heard this kind of rhetoric out of Washington for decades, but it seems like everyone is taking this with a slightly more concern and delicacy. Your thoughts?
Well, I think this is just a continuing pattern of behavior for U.S. President Donald Trump. He consistently uses such bombastic language to threaten to try to coerce or intimidate certain countries all the time, often very poorly thought out, as we saw with the previous example of him undermining Rex Tillerson while he was actively engaging in negotiations behind the scene. We've heard Trump say many times that he was going to destroy the DPRK, that he was going to launch war, and used many euphemisms for war in his statements against them. But as of yet, there's been no actual military attempt against the country. I believe that cooler heads inside of the United States government are certainly watching things very closely and trying to run things properly, behind the scenes, while Donald Trump is in public saying whatever comes off the top of his head, very poorly thought out, if thought out at all. I don't think this statement is any more significant than any statement that he has made in the past. He has used such bomb.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. So you mentioned cooler heads, but he emerges out of a meeting with some of his top generals, some of the same generals that have been trying to diffuse a lot of stuff that's been coming out of his mouth, trying to get him to cool down on his tweets, especially when it comes to the DPRK. But then here he is coming out of a meeting with them, saying that this meeting, he refers to the meeting as the calm before the storm. I mean, you have to admit that kind of seems a little bit troubling, that some of these generals might be on cue with them as far as him maybe wanting to take military action. Does it not seem so?
Oh, I don't doubt for a second that Trump wants to take military action. And his generals, he probably has generals in there who want to take a military action too. But there's a big question of what a military campaign against the DPRK would cost. Trump certainly does want to do it. I don't doubt that this is something in his mind, that he's willing to expend the lives of American soldiers as just mere chess pieces in a game against the DPRK. But I think it's really a balancing act right now. I think Trump really has to go out and use such extreme language while he has people plotting behind the scenes to negotiate and probably come up with some kind of alternative, like a military campaign. It's almost like they've got really the two options on the table, and it's just Trump that's going out into the media and spouting off and saying things, portraying them as though there was only one option, and that being a military option.
So do you just see this as posturing, or do you see this leading to something devastating?
I think it's mostly posturing. I don't think that Trump would really be willing to risk a nuclear war with the DPRK. He's said that so many times in the past that he's going to invade, he wants to invade, this is the thing they should do, and it's a waste of time to negotiate with them. But he hasn't made such an action yet. It's really a huge cost to go after a country like the DPRK, one with a questionable nuclear capability. Not 100% sure if it can reach the United States yet, even though the country does claim it. But I think this is just more rhetoric coming out of the White House that we've seen time and time again.
Thanks for joining us once again on the program, Mr. Jason Unruhe out of Ontario, Canada, political commentator.